Hey everybody, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you. As you can see, we're going to be using the handwritten background stamp and the Healing Hugs stamp set again. This is the card I've come up with. Now I did see some things similar on Pinterest, of course. Good things don't tend to go uncased for long. But I really like the idea of layering not only the stamps but also different sheets of texture. So we're going to use cardstock and vellum, and then we're going to create the rows on top with some cutouts, which we'll do with our paper snips. Okay, so let's get started. I have my basic card kit, so I have my envelope, I have a piece of Whisper White for my card base, fold that in half. Then we're going to be using two different purples. We're using Rich Raspberry and Blackberry Bliss. Now I'm using the two different inks, but I'm only using the Rich Raspberry cardstock. Okay, so that's going to go on like that. We're going to do some stamping and cutting out. We're going to do another piece in the center, layer on the vellum, okay, and then build our rows on top. So let's do some stamping. Okay, so I'm going to start by stamping my rows from the Healing Hugs stamp set. Now I'm going to stamp in Rich Raspberry on Rich Raspberry, so color on color. And this is a distinctive ink stamp set, so you want to stamp firmly in the center of your stamp pad to get a really good image of your distinctive stamp. So I'm just going to press and then press again, and I'm just going to come right down the card. I'm filling it in as I go. See, I offset it a little bit. And I'm going to ink it each time, and I'm just going to fill it in right to its borders. Okay, so there's that. Now I am going to need one more that will trim out, so right in the center, and this time on a white. And you see all that texture in that rose? So that's just by stamping it with one color. And then if you wanted to, you could add another color with your markers or your blends. So kind of a cool effect. Okay, so there's our roses. Now I'm going to take my Blackberry Bliss ink, okay, and my background stamp, handwritten, and I'm going to ink up my background stamp. So Blackberry Bliss is a slightly darker purple than the Rich Raspberry, so I'm just going to ink that up. And we're actually going to stamp it twice. So the first time I'm just going to put my cardstock down. I'm going to use the grid to help me square it away, and then I'm going to use the grid again to help me square away the stamp over the top. Okay, so right over the top, and give it a good press, and then we're going to pick it up and peel it off. Good, it didn't smudge. Alright, so there's that. So that's very subtle layering. Okay, now I'm going to take another piece of Whisper White. This is going to be the mounted background underneath the vellum, and I stamped that same expression on there. So I'm going to re-ink with my Blackberry Bliss. Again, I'm using my grid paper to make sure it's square, so that when I put this down squarely over the top, hopefully it'll all be lined up. That down and peel that one off. Usually it just comes off, but it's pretty humid here today, so it's sticking a little. Okay, so there's a couple of layers just like that. Now we can go ahead and just add that right to our background, so I'm just going to place it here in the center, kind of give it even layering of a border around. Okay, and now I can also go ahead and put my vellum right over the top of that. So I'm just going to add some snail right in the center, because when I build my rows you won't see that. So it's a sneaky way of getting the vellum on there without adding a lot of adhesive. And that's just going to go over the top. So layer, 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 layered stamps, layered cardstock. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in my leaf and my lemon lime twist, and we're going to stamp this 3 times. I like to do things in odd numbers, as you know, if you've been watching for a while. So there are my 3 leaves, okay? And I have already cut those out with my paper snip so it wouldn't take too much time. Now, one thing I'm going to do with that, though, is I'm going to use my aqua painters, and I'm going to use the ink in my lid, and I'm just going to give these a little more color. The other way you could do it is actually stamp the lemon lime twist on lemon lime twist cardstock instead of using the white cardstock. But I kind of wanted that white edge on them, and I wanted to be able to wash them out a little bit so that it wasn't full color necessarily everywhere. So just very quickly with my aqua painter, I'm just adding like a color wash onto the leaf. Okay, and I'm not being super picky about staying inside the lines, but I do want a little more color in there. So okay, just rub that right out until it runs clear. Alright, so now I can put that away. And I have already die cut the rose with my paper snips as well, so that's set to go. Now, one thing you want to do before you start building on the vellum is I'm going to add this silver and white twine. So I am going, this is 4 inches, I'm going to go 20 inches, so that's 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to have enough so that I can wrap it twice and put a little knot in it if you want to, but actually this time I think I'm going to tack it on the back. So I'm just going to start with a little bit of snail right on the back and put this here, and I'm just going to wrap this around. Actually I went around 3 times, and that's okay, and tack that right on there as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and add snail to the back. Now if you don't trust that twine to stay put, you go ahead and put a piece of regular Scotch tape right over the top. Okay, it's your card. If you want it to be more secure, you make it more secure. There are no rules in crafting. Okay, so now I've got my card base and I've got my card topper, and I'm just going to center that as best I can, just like that. Okay, now let's bring in some dimensional. I'm going to put my rose on with dimensionals. I'm actually going to use 2. Okay, so there's my rose. I'm just going to put that right in the top, and then I'm going to use glue dots and make my leaves be self-adhesive stickers, right? Our self-made images for embellishing, and then just peel those up lightly, and you're just going to tuck those under your edge. So by stepping up the rose on a dimensional, we can slide the leaves in to build our bouquet as it is. Okay? So now in this one I also tied a bow out of that ribbon and tacked it on with a glue dot. This one I'm not going to do that with. I'm going to leave it without the bow. I don't know. I haven't decided if that's busier than I want it, but there's 2 different versions for you. And then for the envelope, I just stamped that same rose right in the corner. Easy peasy. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this quick show and tell with all of the layering. Remember, we double stamped the background, so we stamped the roses and then the big background stamp handwritten. Then we did this background stamp on the white and added the vellum over the top. And then of course our rose and leaves and the twine. So there it is. So I hope you enjoyed. As always, I love thumbs up and comments below. And don't forget the full tutorial with photos and the video are on next week's Tuesday show and tell news. So you can subscribe to that below. All the links are there for you. Alright everybody, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll stamp with you again soon. Bye-bye.